Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We're just going to give everyone another 3 to 4 minutes and then we'll get started. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar, What's New in Modern Requirements, an overview of the latest features and tool enhancements in Modern Requirements for DevOps 2021. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. If you are not a current customer of Modern Requirements, you can visit the link on the screen at any time. I'll also drop it in the chat box, but with this link, you can get a 30-day trial of Modern Requirements at no cost. It's a great way to just try it out and see if it's the right fit for your team. On to today's webinar. Today's speakers include myself and Breen as your host for today. Rosie, our Director of Marketing, is going to give us a brief introduction on Modern Requirements, and Mao, our Customer Success Consultant, will be doing a deeper dive into the many new exciting features of Modern Requirements for DevOps 2021. If you've been here before, you know the drill, but if not, we always send out the recording to the webinars afterwards, typically about 1 day later. They'll also be available on our website along with all of our other webinars if you'd like to go back and take a look at those. We'll have about 15 minutes towards the end reserved for a Q&A. So Throughout the session, as your questions come up, please feel free to drop them in the control panel at any time. And lastly, we have a feedback survey that will pop up in your browser as soon as the webinar is complete. Please complete the survey if you can. It really helps us to improve these webinars moving forward. All right, over to you, Rosie.
All right, thanks, Ambreen, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Since our last release webinar, we have a lot of exciting news to share with you, one of which is Modern Requirements for DevOps. Our flagship product is now available in Marketplace, so Microsoft Azure Marketplace, which is their online store providing applications and services for use on Microsoft Azure. We are also Gold certified. We work directly with teams at Microsoft together to help you find the right solution to fit your unique needs. And on top of that, this means our clients can now take advantage of the scalability and security of Azure with streamlined deployment and management. But ultimately, our strong partnerships gives you the peace of mind that we are always in alignment, adapting, and growing with Microsoft. And with that said, we are super excited to have Martina, who is the Principal Group Program Manager at Microsoft, to join us as a presenter in our next webinar on the topic of requirements and DevOps. This is also your opportunity to learn about new Azure DevOps features and capabilities and how to prepare for the future. So this is your opportunity to take a sneak peek at what they have planned for the future of Azure DevOps. We are going to send out the invitation next week, so make sure to look in your inbox and reserve your seat. I think we're going to have a lot of people attending, so make sure to sign up and join us on June 9th. Now, for those of you who are currently not using our solution or are new to Modern Requirements, I just want to spend a bit of time to go over what we do. So we are the world's leading and the only requirements management solution built directly in Azure DevOps. Modern Requirements for DevOps, as I mentioned, our flagship product, extends and adds new capabilities in Azure DevOps. So business analysts, product owners, system engineers, quality assurance leads, and people like yourself can better manage projects throughout the entire lifecycle so that we can help you improve the entire value chain. With Modern Requirements for DevOps, you can author, elicit, automate, trace, define, and so much more to help with requirements directly in Azure DevOps. Now, if you're still wondering why would you need a requirements management solution in your Azure DevOps interface, well, this might resonate with you a little bit. Before discovering Modern Requirements for DevOps, all of our clients face at least a handful of these common issues. Just to highlight a few here, many experienced delay in reviews, approvals, and reporting. They waste time cutting and pasting requirements. They had little to none requirements reuse, and they go through a really painful process tracing their requirements and documents. And that is why we partnered with Microsoft and created Modern Requirements for DevOps. With it, you can be sure to eliminate all of these challenges and much more. We ensure that you have the right tool for every aspect of your requirements life cycle. That is why Modern Requirements for DevOps come with an extensive feature set, including things like trace analysis, review management, baselining, reporting, diagramming, mockups, and our unique Smart Docs authoring environment. And Mal will touch upon these a little bit later in the demonstration. With these features, we are always improving and growing as well, together with Microsoft and based on our clients' feedback. And hence why we're here today to do a release webinar like this. And to summarize, thousands of our users worldwide have experienced shortened cycle time, increased value flow, and reduced development rework. Our users have consistently reported 30 to 50% increase in requirement productivity and quality, thanks to the automation behind our features. And as for our clients, I just want to remind you that our support team is always here for you. And we accommodate different time zones since we have clients around the world. So you can always reach us directly during these working hours. And if we are outside of these working hours, we are here for you as well through other means. So make sure you check out our support section on our website. We offer a variety of resources on our website. And this is an example of the support page. Here you can log incidents ticket. You can reach us via email. We are always welcoming new ideas and suggestions. You can take a look at our entire pool of how-to articles and guides to help you through different problems that you might face. You can learn a bit more about each features and our product as well. And if it comes to it, you can also report a bug. So make sure you check out this page and bookmark it. Now, for the rest of the webinar, we will go through new features and enhancements included in this release. Before I pass it over to Mal to do the demonstration, I want to get to know our audience a little bit. So I'm going to pull up a few poll questions. So it'd be great if everyone can select the answer that fits you. So the first question here, is your organization currently using modern requirements? So I see answers popping in. Okay, I'll just give everyone a few more seconds. Okay, it looks like 68% are currently using modern requirements. That's great. And we have about 30% people who are not using or are new to modern requirements. So welcome, thanks for joining us. And let's go to the next question here. All right, next question. All right, what methodology do you currently use? I see answers popping in. Let's wait for a few more seconds. All right, looks like majority of us, which is 60%, are hybrid. Following that is a 30% agile, and then the rest are waterfall and others. Okay, great. Okay, let's go to the next question here. And what is your role in your organization? Well, looks like BA, SA, and product owners are a majority of us, which is around 80%. We also have some QA, tester, PMs, and then compliance analyst. All right, next and final question. What best describes your primary goal of using requirements management tool? So we'll give everyone a few seconds to think about their answer. Okay, we have a pretty good divide here, and a lot of you have chosen more than one answer. Number one here is requirements documenting and reporting, authoring requirements and linkage, as well as traceability analysis. Okay, that's great. Well, thanks everyone for participating and submitting your answer. And now I'm going to pass it over to Mao to do the demonstration and cover the new features and enhancements that we have included in this new release. So over to you, Mao.
Okay, thank you, Rosie. So first, let me share my screen. I'll share my screen. Okay, show my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so hello everyone. This is Mao from Modern Requirements, and welcome to this webinar. And so for those who are potential clients or new to Modern Requirements, I want to quickly spend a few minutes to go through some of our key features. So we are a requirements management tool built on Azure DevOps. So if you go to our platform, you will see some features or modules provided by Azure DevOps. For example, from the requirements to backlogs to queries. So in addition to that, we also have Smart Docs. I'm going to show you a Smart document. And so the Smart Doc allows you to document your requirements in a well-structured way. And we also have the diagram module where you can build your diagrams in the same environment and link your diagram to other requirements. And we also have the traceability module where you can track, where you can, okay. Just hold on for a second. Why it's not showing. Okay, yeah. So the traceability module allows you to track your requirement end to end. And also you can somehow, hold on, the configuration went wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And also you can check the coverage, the linkage by using this, 2x2 intersection matrix. And when your requirements are ready, you can send it to your stakeholders for review. And also you can take a snapshot of your requirements by using the baseline module. And later on, you can do change management by comparing different baselines to keep track of all the changes. So this is a quick coverage of some of our features. And if you want to know more details about each of those modules, we actually had a very good webinar, I think a few weeks ago. So you can watch the recording, which is located under the help center of our website. Right, so let's look at what's new in our 2021 release. So first, some background information of this new release. So currently, we are gradually rolling out to all our client server. So if you don't see the updates I'm going to cover in this webinar, I believe they are on their way. And so one of the quick way of checking you have the new release or not is to go to the organization setting and go to the modern requirements in extension. And if you see the build number here is 22.6.1, I think the new release is good to go. And if you are on-prem user, which means you install the MR on your local server, I believe our team has already or will send you an email so you can just follow the instructions to install the new release. And we are also targeting the new release to the end of June or early July. We will cover the new features and changes in our next coming webinars. All right, so let's look at what's new in this new release. So the first thing I want to mention is the requirements parameter. So this is an important aspect of variant management. And for example, when we roll out new generations or add a new product to the product family, adopting a variant management to handle the commonalities and variations among the product could be very, very helpful. And so here in the new release, we added this parameter configuration feature, and I'm going to show you how to configure it and some of the use cases. So we can access this parameter configurations under the collection setting, go to the MR extension, and then go to the admin panel and all the way to the general tab. And so you will see this new section has been added, which is called parameter configuration. If you cannot see this admin panel, which means you probably don't have the admin rights of the current projects, so you can talk to the admin of your organization and confirm that you have this new feature in your environment. So the configuration of this parameter is very simple. So here we choose to enable this parameter functionality or not. So of course, in this case, we're going to check it. And then we can choose a matched field. So here I'm going to choose the area path. And of course, you can choose some other fields listed here. And I'm going to show you how to use it in just a minute. And now let's go to SmartDoc. And if you are a potential user or new to modern requirements, SmartDoc is a requirements documenting feature, bridges the gap between requirements and documenting. So it allows you to show your requirements in a document view. So here I have a document which shows the design requirements of a product. I made it relatively simple just to illustrate the parameter configurations. So hold on, I'm going to hide this window. Okay. So if you have this new release installed, you should be able to see this configure parameter button. And if you cannot see it and you confirm that you have the new release, you can simply sign out from here, not here, and sign out from here and log in again. And you should be able to see this configure parameter if you have the new release installed in your server. So we see in this document, there are length and width of a component. But if I open up this work item, oh, I think there's some network issue. Sorry. Yeah. So if I open up this work item, I see this width of the length and are not showing as numbers, but parameters, which are included in those curly brackets. So now if I open up this configure parameter, here we see that we see the area path field here, because in the admin panel, we selected the matched field to be area path. So it means that the system will use this area path to determine what parameters or what parameter values should be applied when different values in the area path is selected by the user. Then I can specify the parameter and parameter values under each area path. So you will see the values will show up here in the SmartDoc. So what I want to do next is I want to set up a different set of parameter values for another area path. So I can open up this configure parameter again and go to product 2, which is another area path. So I can manually set up the parameter name or the parameter value, or I can be a little bit lazy here. I can just choose those two parameters, copy, and then paste, and change some values here. And save it. So basically it says the length and the width of that component is going to be 20, and 30 in product 2. Okay, so now if I open up this work item from SmartDoc, and I change the area path of that work item from product 1 to product 2 and save it, and you will see the number, the parameter numbers will change accordingly. Or another use case could be if I want to reuse this document for a new product, I can simply save this document as a document template. So let's do it. So here I'm going to say product 1 design template, and I'm going to save it. So now in the same project or in a brand new project, I can simply create a new work item, but based on the document template we just saved. Let me see if I can find it. Product 1 training. Okay, should be this product 1 design template, which is a document template I just saved. So I'm going to give it a name. Let's say copy document. And you see in the same project or in a new project, I can just create a SmartDoc based on the template I previously saved, and suddenly everything gets copied. And if now I open up this work item and I change the area path to product 2 and save it, and you will see the number, the parameter values gets populated. So the work item, the reuse approach is one of the reuse approach offered by modern requirements. So basically this work item reuse approach means when I have a new product, if there are some new requirements could be reused from the last product, I don't have to create those requirements again or use exactly the same document to mess up the previous document. We can simply create a copy of this work item to handle product specific variant specifications. So here, and also, by the way, in modern requirements, we have different approaches of requirement reuse. That is a very interesting topic. So here, the approach we showed is using work items through SmartDoc. We have also several ways of requirement reuse. So we probably could cover it in one of our next webinars. And also there are some nice tutorial videos located under the help center of our website. Those are regarding those basic and also advanced requirement reuse topics. Okay, so let's go back here. So here you can consider product 1 and product 2 are different generations of a product or different product, but share some common designs. The parameter value will change based on values in the match field. In this case, so different area paths will trigger different parameters. So there could be a lot of use cases of this parameter configurations. And so for example, I could, set the matched field to be priority. So in the issue document, I can configure the corresponding guidance of the issue work item based on the priority. So if I change the priority of an issue, then this corresponding guidance will be changed automatically. Another possibility I could think is that in risk management, based on the severity of each risk item, you can specify different risk control descriptions. And right now, these parameter values can only be applied on rich text field, like description, where you can show the content of your requirements in different format, like paragraph, bullet points, or table. This parameter could be applied to all of those formats, which means you can include those parameter values in bullet points or in tables. So this is about the parameter configuration in SmartDocs. In this new release, we also have some improvements in SmartDoc. So for example, if we go to the admin area, go to the Smart Document tab. So here you can change the default font settings. So the settings you choose here will automatically become the default format when you use Smart Editor to edit your work item. And for those who are not very familiar with Smart Editor, it is a good supplement provided by Modern Requirements to allow you to edit the work item in a Word-like editor. And you can do a lot of formatting, like insert table or edit the format of a table, which are actually not included in ADO's standard editor. So in this new release, we also enrich the formatting you can do to the table inserted by using Smart Editor. So here are some new table style available, and also we can adjust the width of the border. And color of the borders can be changed as well. Those colors are granted of these beautiful names. Yeah, that is about the change to the Smart Editor. So now let's look at another document. Let's go to the sample SmartDoc. So if I open, so first, if I turn this type on, you could see there are different types of work items listed in this Smart report. Smart document. And so if I open up, say, this work item, I can change the work item type by clicking on these 3 dots. So here, right now, this work item is an epic, but maybe I want to change it to another work item type, let's say section. So sometimes we create this, a work item, but later on we decide it should be another work item type. So we don't have to delete it and create another new work item and manually do the copy and paste. We can simply change the work item type from here. So the change type function does exist in. So previously, after you change the work item type, that change won't show up in SmartDocs. So if you wanted to update it, you had to delete the work item and insert it again. But now this change will show up in SmartDocs. Yep. So here we need to pay attention to 2 things. So the first one, if you change the work item type to a type which is not supported in SmartDoc, the system is going to automatically remove it from SmartDocs. Since each SmartDoc is built on a template, which is called meta template, which serves as a structure of the document. So it determines what work item types can be placed at what places. So in your project, you can create a structure for your business requirements and one for your functional requirements and one for your non-functional requirements. So your team can have a very well-structured document across the board. And another change we have done is to add caption to Smart Report. So when your requirements are ready, you can export them to a Smart Report. So let's export that SmartDoc into a Smart Report. And here I choose to put all my features into table. And under the table, you could see the captions. So the caption can be easily configured by using the Smart Report Designer. So I can edit and add caption from here. And then you can choose to export this Smart Report to a PDF Word or HTML file. All right, so the last change I want to discuss is the enhancement of the MathCal feature. So I'm going to use another project. So MathCal is a feature of performing mathematical and logical expressions on work items. So here I'm going to show you, this is a compliance template, which is mainly used for the compliance purposes. So here I have a hazard work item. As you see, some of the fields are labeled as auto. So those fields are automatically calculated based on some input in this work item. So you don't have to calculate it manually. So for example, in this case, this initial probability is determined by the first two inputs, and then this initial probability and initial severity will further determine the initial risk evaluation. So in addition to this logical calculation, MathCal can also be used to perform mathematical calculations. So for example, I'm going to create a task work item. So in the task work item, we can set up a formula saying that the remaining work equals to original estimate minus completed work. As more and more users are adopting this MathCal feature, we have improved the performance. It could be used to handle very complex and multi-step calculations. And another enhancement in this version regarding the MathCal is that now the textual input can be converted to a value to do further calculations. And also, if you have numerical values which might have a lot of decimal points, the MathCal feature could help you round the decimal numbers to one or more digits as you configured. All right, so this is some of the highlighted changes of our 2021 release. Also, you can always check the release notes, which includes all the changes we have done in this new release. The release note is always sent out when your server gets updated. If you still have any questions or thoughts, please let us know. And also the last thing I want to cover is that most of the changes we do are based on our users' feedback. So if you have any feedback or thoughts or simply want a new feature, please let us know, and our product team will analyze those requests and prioritize them. So maybe in one of our next release, you will see the feature you requested. All right, so this is the end of my demo. So now I'm going to hand it over back to Rosie to take care of the questions.
All right, thank you, Mal. We're going to open it up for questions. So please look for the questions window and to type in your question. The first one here is, can you show the traceability process again? Mal, do you want to take this one?
Oh, I think Asif is here.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Rosie, could you please repeat the question again?
Yeah, can you show the traceability process again?
Okay, so let me, let me actually go back because I think the previous change haven't been saved. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, Rosie, you can take care of the next question and I will prepare the traceability.
All right, so we have Asif on the call, our chief technologist. So I think this could be a good question for you. Is there now a user interface to define the MathCal calculation?
Yeah, can you hear me now or not?
You're very quiet.
Oh, how is this? Can you hear me now?
Still quiet, Asif.
Oh, you can't
Yeah,
hear me?
as if you sound very remote, but
Oh,
I can hear you. Yep.
I see. Okay. Can you hear me now or no?
Yeah, I can.
No.
Oh, now it's better.
Hey, Rosie, Mao, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yep.
we can hear you perfect now. Asif, I think we lost you. While we wait for Asif, I have another question here. Maybe you can answer this, Mel. Where can we find the release notes?
Oh, so the release note is always sent out by our operation team when your server gets updated. But if you don't have it, you can always write to us to info@modernrequirements.com, and we will send that release note to you.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Oh, good, thank you. So I heard one question about showing trace analysis again. So let
Yes.
me begin with that.
Okay.
So if you can see my screen now, so in trace analysis, really there are two types of traceability matrix. So under trace analysis, you will see the horizontal matrix. And this horizontal matrix is really showing you how epics are broken up into features into stories, how stories are linked to test cases, and test cases to bugs. And the way this was configured is through the editor tab. And in the editor tab, you can configure up to 10 levels of work items. You can also go from one to the other level using different link types. So if you look at creating a query that goes through different link types connecting various work items, you cannot do that in the standard query view. But in the horizontal matrix, you can actually configure this to actually pull data based on different work item types and link types. You can also specify the various properties you want to include in your trace matrix. You may also have the ability to use more advanced options, which are query-based. So the filtering is not just area path iteration path, but is based on the result of a query. So you have much finer control on what shows up on your trace matrix, as well as do cross-project traceability matrix. So that's the horizontal matrix. The alternate, oh, by the way, once you have a trace matrix, you can even generate a smart report. So if you generate a smart report, it'll consider the output of the horizontal matrix as a virtual hierarchy going from left to right, and show that data in a smart report format, or you can export this to Excel in a WYSIWYG manner. The other type of trace matrix was the intersection matrix. And in the intersection matrix, you give it two dimensions, such as requirements versus test cases. And here you can see my user stories versus test cases. Everywhere you see an arrow means this requirement is linked to these test cases. In this view, you can also make links as well as break links. You can also filter out data for things, say, that have no links associated to it. And if you use test management, Azure DevOps test management, and particularly if you use requirements-based test suites, then you can get the results overlaid on the grid by selecting the configuration from here in red, green to show pass, failed, or not executed as yet. We also released recently a trace matrix configuration for people that actually have Enterprise Plus license to generate reports on test execution. So you can generate a report from test plan to test suite to text run and also at the step level and the linked bugs. So you can get the whole sort of data out of your text execution under the test hub. And you can show that both from within the test hub as a smart report, or you can show it as a horizontal matrix in the trace analysis area. There was another related question on the parameter feature that Mao demonstrated. Obviously, you'll find that when you can abstract out the parameters of a requirement so that you can have requirements reuse, that could be extremely valuable. That particular feature is part of the Enterprise Plus edition. So if you have Enterprise Plus, then you will see the parameter configuration option, and you'll be able to then use it as Mao showed you. Of course, Mao showed you a couple of scenarios of how you could use it, but there are many different permutations of how you could use the parameterization.
Okay, we have another question. Can you show how to create something in MatCal?
So for MatCal, so currently we don't have an admin UI for MatCal. That is something we are currently working on. So we are hoping by this summer, we will have an administrative UI to configure your MatCal logic. In our next release, which should be out towards the end of June or early July, we are putting a administrative design for a UI, admin UI for word import, rule set configuration, and either with that or right after that, in August, we'll release the MatCal administrative UI. So right now there is no UI. It is an XML-based MatCal configuration. So yeah, so there's not much I can show you right now, but it does handle a lot of them. We have some clients that have hundreds of rules configured for MatCal to do risk analysis and hazard management and so on.
Okay, next question. Can we define predefined values, a drop down for the parameters?
So the parameter setting is so you define a list of parameters and you simply reference those parameters within your description fields. So basically you have the ability to basically go to parameters, select which product or whatever you've configured your parameter to be linked to, and then define your parameter and the value related to that. So you could actually create these parameters and also copy the parameter to other areas. So I could copy this and put it onto that side. Oh, I have to select all, copy, move to the next one, paste it. And now the parameters are available there as well. So now I could do some other changes here. And now these parameters can be reused within our work items. And the way you reuse the parameters is you simply put in the curly brackets like so, with the name of the parameter. And of course, you can then select the product or whatever configuration this maps to. And so you can then see the value show up there, right? So it is a list of parameters that you can reference across multiple, and the same parameter can show up in many work items, and they get translated at the runtime, both within SmartDoc and SmartReport when you use it from here.
Okay, next question. Can you see the parameterized data when viewing a work item in ADO query as well as in the SmartDoc?
So no, you will not see that in the, so when you open up the work item, as in like this, you will see the parameter name, as in P1 here. You don't see the replaced value. The replaced value is visible when you are looking at within SmartDocs or from SmartReports from here.
Next question. How often are you shipping new releases?
So our target is to release 3 to 4 releases every year, but we do end up releasing a couple of minor releases every year. But ideally, we'd like to release three major releases and maybe a couple minor releases.
Next question. For traceability, does that work for something like work done to resolve issues in CMMI template?
Yes, you can generate a trace matrix like that. So it's simply a matter of how you configure your trace matrix, how you define the data that's going to be shown at every level of the trace matrix. So you might have to configure the right query and then use that query to generate the trace matrix in the way that you have described. If you have challenges, then just reach out to your support person or just write to support@modernrequirements.com, and somebody will reach out and sort of give you a more detailed explanation as to how to do that.
Okay, one more. Will it be possible to export the requirements to test cases traceability in an Excel sheet based on the test results from a selected test plan in Azure DevOps?
Yes, you can. So basically, you go. We actually did a full webinar on that topic of generating traceability matrix and SmartReport from test plan. So if you go to a help center, it's there. There's also a tech note on our blog site, on our website, and that also outlines exactly how to configure it. And once you get your trace matrix, you can always export to Excel, and that will have your test results in it.
Okay, couple more questions I see here. Has SmartReport export to Word been upgraded in inherent to inherit all attributes of the style defined in the Word document?
So we have done that for a few of those styles. We are still working on various other styles that needs to be supported in Word. So not all of it is done yet. The one thing that you do need to make a note of, that when you generate a smart report that you're going to save as Word, choose the inherit Word styling option before you save to Word, because this then forces the output in Word document format to inherit the Word styling. Because if you use some other one, then it will use sort of hard-coded styles from this list. But if you use inherit, then the styles that we do support will be inherited in Word.
Okay, another question here. Please skip if this is not a good topic for this webinar. Our team is looking to move from on-prem to the cloud version of ADO. With MR now in the marketplace, could we install from the marketplace and log in using our current licenses?
No. That would be actually, no, that's a good question. Would that work? I think it should work. I think, no, but it partly won't work because when you go through the marketplace, Azure Marketplace, it actually will enable it, but part of that you have to buy a license through the marketplace. So you would, yeah, so obviously you don't, if you already have licenses, you don't need extra licenses, then you would not go through that route. You would just do it the way you are doing it right now. Just let us know what's your new Azure DevOps service account name. You can just write to your account manager or write to support@modernrequirements.com, and they will actually just enable it themselves, and it'll be up and running. So that's probably the simpler way to enable if you're moving from on-prem to the cloud version of Azure DevOps.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, but we'll wait for a few more seconds. So please type in your questions if you have any. Okay, yeah, I don't see any other questions coming in. So thanks everyone for attending today. Please complete the survey at the end of the webinar, and we'll see you again on June 9th for our next webinar with Microsoft. All right, thanks everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.